ITNation Connect 2024 was last week. It's the Monday after. Huge success. Largest MSP event of the year. So many new announcements. So many new exciting things going on. We had a great time. We had Podcasters Row for the first time ever at an MSP event, by the way, not just IT Nation, where we had 9 podcasters set up in their own area, in a high traffic area, just having conversations with attendees, MSPs, with vendors, with ConnectWise staff. Just a wonderful event. Ushering the new CEO, Manny Ravello, as Jason McGee exits, and lots of great new product announcements. I personally had a speaking session there as well, which was a great success. How to help MSPs in sales and marketing with podcasting. There was great after parties with Universal and Stone Temple Pilots, and Tony Hawk spoke, and it was an incredible event. We recorded many conversations, and the following is one of the conversations, and they were all great. It was a high traffic area, so they might be a little noisy, but just a great event. I encourage everyone to consider going to it. Thanks so much for listening.
Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Found myself at 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. I took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People ask me, how'd you do it? What's the secret? I need to lose weight. How'd you do it? How did I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport. Eric Torres, thanks so much for your time. What is it about golf that attracts you?
Ooh, good question right out of the gate. What's the saying? The golf is played between your ears. The mental toughness it takes. You go out there and you could be awful for 17 holes, and then you play that one good hole, and it keeps you coming back.
Really
so
does.
It's strategy. You got to think things through. Every single step on that course, you are planning for what's going to happen next.
Sure.
So
yeah. And there's no one to blame but yourself, but you get all the credit, though.
Yeah, no teammates that you can say
Right.
if you picked up the slack. It is 100% on you, and then you can gloat when you hit that sweet drive right down the middle, and you just perfectly hit that 7-iron, and it goes exactly where you want it to go.
Yeah. And then never have the same shot twice. Even if it's in the same exact location, the weather can be different, the grass can be a different size, the pin's in a different location.
Yep.
I never had the same shot twice.
Yeah, I mean that's why people played. You know, you're part of a club, and I play the same course back home. It's the same course, but a different course every single time.
Yeah, it's very, very true. So we got to know each other when you were at Datto. How long ago was that now?
Boy, I was at Datto. I was at ScalePad for 2.5 years. Datto for almost 7.
Wow.
And now a month here at PAX 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at Datto, you were really well received in the MSP community. We loved when you came by for our lunch and learns at HTG.
Yep.
You didn't pitch Datto. You kind of gave insights on what you did there at Datto to help the MSPs. You gained really great capital amongst MSPs back then. It was a shining time.
Yeah, I think I gave the, back then I had left the MSP world and went to Datto. So I worked at an MSP for 9 years.
That's right.
In everything in that business except for the tech work. So, and the mistakes I made, the learnings that I had, that's what I brought when I had joined Datto to just share. Hey, here's my experience. Here's what we did. There's no secret sauce. There's no magic button, but I can share with you what mistakes I made and try to help. And from that, then we built that marketing development funds program. And that was my passion. I absolutely loved helping our partners. And when you see a partner get a new client, that to me is more satisfaction than even ourselves getting a new partner.
I didn't know you had an MSP first.
Yeah, I was part of one. I didn't own it. I started out cold calling
Whoa.
all day long. I was a
Humbling.
telemarketer. Yeah, telemarketer,
Humbling freaking.
and grew from that, which I think every person should
Yes.
work in a restaurant and be a
Yes.
telemarketer at
That's
some
right.
point.
It helps, yeah, because I remember doing cold calls and just smiling and dialing, trying to get past those gatekeepers,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and
Brutal.
brutal hitting hang-ups, and
Yeah.
it's very
You developed
humbling.
some tough skin.
So at Datto for 7 years, and you learned a lot there. You brought that all over,
Yep.
and then you went to ScalePad.
Then I went to ScalePad, which was a tough decision, leaving one company, going to another. I'm not one to. I try not to be one to bounce around from job to job, and it was just time. I wanted to go run my own show, and Rob helped me. Rob Ray, my boss at Datto, he had helped me. He knew the day was coming when I would eventually leave, and he said, "Well, I'm here to help. You know, who are you talking to? What are you looking for?" And he actually got me the interview at ScalePad.
Did he really?
So it was a good good way to leave on a high note. And when I did leave, I told him, you know, someday our paths will cross and we'll be together again. And now here we are back together again.
And so the move to PAX 8, talk me through that.
So that one took a little while, and I loved ScalePad. I loved the people there, the product. I believe in it, but it was purely the chance to join another rocket ship, watching everything that PAX 8 does.
Yeah.
And join forces with Rob again. It feels natural.
Huh.
It feels good.
And what are you doing there at PAX 8?
The same thing. So running community and channel. So all of the events, we'll be adding new events and going to more. The whole thing is meeting more MSPs and getting out there, and that's what we're going to be doing.
So we're at ITNation here in Orlando. It's November. There's 7,000 attendees here. It's absolutely huge. What's your message to the MSPs? What's your goal the next day or two here, Eric?
Next day or two is some education. We have a significant amount of partners here, and they all come up and they share their stories with us. They talk to us, but they still don't know all of the benefits available to them, which is like that for just about every vendor. And it's educating them on how to better utilize the tools that they have that they may not even know about.
Give me an example, some tools, because when I think PAX 8, I think of, distribution, platform. What are some services available for MSPs that they might not know about?
We think of ourselves as a marketplace.
That's right.
Completely different than the disty model. The disty model is not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's some gaps there where it's just where a catalog that you purchase from, and now it's a prettier interface. We have the added benefits, and the two that really caught my eye were announced at Beyond last year this year in Denver.
Yeah.
The Opportunity Explorer, which we use AI to look at what an MSP is selling to their clients, but then also using the collective wisdom of 35,000 other PAX 8 partners to look at a specific vertical. So as an MSP, if they have a manufacturing vertical and it's between 20 and 100 employees at that account, what are other manufacturing companies using all across the globe? What software are they consuming? How are they working? So then we can make recommendations to that MSP saying, your customer fits this persona. Here's some cross-sell, upsell opportunities for you.
Wow.
So that right there was huge, seeing that. And the storefront. So we have a storefront that our partners can build for their end users, because things have changed, and the way that we consume things, the way we buy things is completely changed because of COVID. I don't go to the mall anymore. I don't go to the shoe store. Everything I do is online, and I research. I read the reviews. I see the pictures people post. The video reviews people do. IT is consumed that same way. It's starting to, because of this newer generation of doing their research and purchasing. We want to be able to help MSPs control that. And they can do that through the storefront and setting up what vendors are in that storefront, what their own services are that are in that storefront, so they can give that end user the experience of going and researching on their own. But that MSP is saying, here's what you need to be researching. Here's the vendors I prefer to work with.
It's amazing how PAX 8 turned the distribution upside down.
It completely disrupted the industry, and even when they first came along, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I was looking at it going, shaking my head.
Right.
What's a cloud marketplace? I had
Right.
no idea what it was and how it worked, and then you start seeing everything behind it going, wow, that is true disruption, and we're elevating the game. Yeah.
I'm fortunate I sold to the MSP, and so I end up doing a lot of kind of boutique consulting, and I work with a lot of vendors, and I work with the distributors, and it's very competitive.
Yeah.
The distributors do not talk nicely at all about you, but who they really don't talk nicely about is PAX 8.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll hate each other, but I mean, deep,
Yeah.
deep disruption, and there's lots of resentment there.
Yeah. I'm flattered.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because we have changed the game.
You certainly have.
And I think even some of the typical disty providers, they realize they have to add more value, more services, more training, more education, which we are the best at.
Yeah.
So it's I take that hate and kind of just smile.
Turn it around.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah,
you do.
yeah.
And beyond, I've been to both of the events in Denver. They were great. It was a great showing. Everything was done top notch, great entertainment. The venue was nice. I assume this is going to continue.
Nothing but continue and get better and
Yeah.
better every single year. All these events get better. You learn from some of the things. You walk away saying, "Hey, next year let's add this. Let's change the way that we're doing this." But the whole event overall, and I'm fresh off the heels of Beyond the European
That's right, in Germany.
in Germany
Yeah.
and in Berlin. That was actually my first day at
Wow.
PAX 8, and same thing. There's the huge feeling of the event, yet the intimate setting of being able to have meaningful conversations.
So my only, of course, tiny criticism would be having a podcasting row.
Yeah. See, we learned because this is great. The whole podcasting row. This is
ITNation
fantastic.
hired me to be in charge of all this.
Yeah.
So I arranged all this. Yeah.
This is great. Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
podcasting is becoming more relevant and what people are looking for.
Pre-COVID, 5 years ago, we never saw this.
That's right.
Yeah. We never thought of working that way. That's the whole point. Like, everybody's working differently now than a couple of years ago, and we have to adjust. We have to do things better and different.
Absolutely, because people don't like I'll get just tiny bit political. Even as an election period, we saw candidates going on more podcasts more than ever.
Yeah.
Because we have a real discussion like this. It's very kind of hard to hide who you are.
Right.
We're having a real genuine conversation. It's not for bites and it's not gotcha and it's not only 90 seconds. But podcasters bring that out. And I'll get off my horse now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I'm a podcast guy. I
Yeah.
listen to a lot.
Me too.
More so, and I'm a music guy, but it's shifted now. When I get on an airplane, and I'm on an airplane every single week,
Right.
it's podcasts
Yeah, I
that I
download
tune
one,
into.
listen
Yeah.
to it. Yeah, absolutely. Eric, has there been anything in the last month and a half that you changed your mind on?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Anything.
Change my mind. No, just add to it. I think the whole mental well-being is a big aspect that a lot of us tend to ignore or don't look at, and especially in the role that I am, that I do love, but being on the road nonstop can eat away at you, and waking up in a hotel and not remembering what city you're in.
Wow.
And just being able to have that mindset of, hey, let's reset, let's sit back, let's view what's going on, let's think about it, and then go and do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very, I've done that too, Eric. I've woken up and I say, wait, where am I again? Yeah, it's not good.
I had it was the other day, we were in Clearwater, so not far from you.
Yeah, I'm tapping.
And we were at an ASCII event, and Rob got there late. He got there at about 1 a.m. His plane landed. In the morning, we met down for breakfast, and he just looks at me and he goes, "What city are we in?"
Wow.
He had, it takes a minute to comprehend, and then we just get right back to doing what we're doing and talking with our friends.
Huh. So a little bit about my journey. I started my MSP in the 90s, was working way too hard there in Connecticut.
Yep.
And got myself up to 340 pounds, right? It was just working too hard, 14-hour days. You're no stranger to this, Eric.
Yep.
But I got up to that weight, and the doctor says to me, the doctor says to me, if I don't lose the weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. She was just born.
Sure.
Scared the hell out of me. I'm
Yeah.
driving home, punching the steering wheel. It's like,
I got myself here. I'm going to get myself out. So the next 6-7 months, lost 130 pounds, kept it off. You can't look at it as a finishing line, right? You just got to change the way you work.
Sure.
People ask me how, what's your secret? And there's no freaking secret, Eric. Discipline. That's how I lost it. Just willpower, routine, etc. How does discipline play a role in your life, Eric Torres?
Discipline. Again, going back to the mental discipline and just putting your shoe on one shoe at a time and going out there and attacking the day. I mean, I'm incredibly thankful for every opportunity that comes my way. And when I'm having those really bad days of waking up in that hotel room, not remembering the city, then I just think, okay, well, I'm fortunate. Like, I've got my health, I've got my people, I've got friends, loved ones, I've got a fantastic career, and I work with some great people. And the discipline of just being able to sit back and lift yourself up from a different level and look down going, things are good. You can think they're bad, but things are good.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of take a step back and review a little bit. Yeah.
Puts things in perspective.
Perspective and being grateful, what you said as well. That's sometimes we just bypass that, don't we? Yeah. What motivates you?
What motivates me as far as business, I mentioned it before, the what I was truly passionate about that I hope to bring over to PAX 8, seeing our partners get a new client. That to me was better than going and getting a new partner.
Wow.
And because that changes that small, it could be a small MSP, it could be a 5-person shop that I meet, and then you see them grow to 10 employees. And now they have the stress of, okay, I have these employees, I gotta, their families are relying on this business, and it grows and it multiplies. And then you see them get to that 20 employee, that $1 million mark, that $3 million mark. And so what drives me is helping them grow, because when MSPs grow, that's when all of us vendors grow.
Yeah.
And that's what I get more excited about than, hey, I got a new MSP that wants to see a demo. Like, okay, that's fantastic, but I got this new MSP that got a new client because of us. That's way better.
It's very rewarding when your friends, associates, colleagues do well, and you play even the smallest part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that partner of ours that'll come up and say thank you. Say, hey, thank you for helping me, because here's how much I've grown. Here's what I've added.
Very cool. Eric, thanks so much for your time. So I've got 2 things to follow up with you on. One, and the more important, is that we still need to play around at golf.
We got to get out there on the golf.
Pushing and pushing and pushing.
I actually just purchased a home here in Florida.
Whoa!
I'm on the Atlantic side, though.
That's fine.
But still, it's 2 hours away from
you.
That's
fine.
And I'm in Melbourne. So, my whole goal was to be able to play golf year-round.
Yeah,
so,
see, you did it. You pulled it. And, of course, number 2 is to get podcasters at Beyond. Those are my 2 follow-ups with you.
I will work on that.
Fantastic.
I can assure you that.
Eric Torres, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, take
Be
care.
well.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with 1 or 2 of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources, and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.